Hey, it's Dr. Fanistel at BoulderMindBodyMedicine.com. I want to talk today about why it's so important to not talk about your pain. And I want to just tell a little story that exemplifies how important it is to not talk about your pain. And then at the end, I want to give you a little tool you can try on a regular basis. And by the way, if you like what you're hearing on this channel, hit the subscribe button, give me a like. It helps boost the channel and get the word out. If you're starting to take charge of your own nervous system to rewire your pain circuitry, congratulations. This is a big step. It's courageous to do this work yourself, and it's kind of subversive to tell the system that, you know what, I think I can do a better job than you. But I think you can. In fact, based on the hundreds of people I've seen get better, I know you can. And I know that for many, many people, this is a much better approach for chronic pain, chronic anxiety, chronic hard to treat problems than sticking in the medical system. So use the medical system where needed. I'm a fan of it. I was part of it for 30 years. But if you're taking this new approach, keep heart. This takes some work. It takes some perseverance. It takes some patience. And I just want to reassure you, there's a power within you that can change this. I've seen it happen to many, many, many people. Today, I want to talk about not talking about your pain, which is something that is very important. And I want to explain why it's important. And then at the end, I want to give you a little tool that you can use that can help you remember how to orient your brain. Where we put our attention is critical. And we want to put our attention on getting better, not on not getting worse. When I ask people, what's your main goal? What are you working towards? If the answer is, my main goal is to get rid of this pain, we're not where we need to be. We need to be moving towards something. So I want to give you one rule to start following if you're not already following it, or maybe I'm just reminding you about this rule. And then at the end, I want to show you a little exercise, a very simple question that you can ask yourself every day on a regular basis to remind yourself and remind your brain that you're orienting towards something good, not just away from something bad. So the rule here is, don't talk about your pain. I had a 65-year-old retired physician patient who had had knee pain for 12 years. And he'd had a bunch of knee surgeries because he's a doctor. And when his knee hurt, he went to doctors, and they always found something wrong to fix. Oh, that's a ligament, or let's shave off this cartilage. Or you got a tendon here that we should do something about based on that previous injury you did 40 years ago. They always had some story for it. Anyway, somehow he'd had all these surgeries. And when he learned about neuroplastic pain, he was like, I can see my pain's neuroplastic. I shouldn't have had any of these surgeries. So after I first saw him and told him, don't talk about your pain, when I saw him again a month later, he came back and he said, so I went home right after our visit. I tapped out this email to these guys that I go biking with, and I told them, hey, don't ask me any more questions about my knee. He said they all three emailed him back and said, thank God, who wants to talk about your knee anymore? And then he also got up the following morning after that visit, and his wife said, how's your knee? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm doing okay. And she's like, no, you're not. I've been living with you for 12 years. I know, I'm trying to be with you here and help you out here. And he's like, look, part of my therapy is we're not going to talk about my knee. He said it took his wife 2 weeks to get out of the habit of checking in with his knee every morning. And he told me, you know what I noticed during those 2 weeks that she was checking in every day and I was having to remind her this isn't the thing. I noticed that in the past, whenever she checked in, my old response, even on the good days, was something like, oh, well, I'm doing pretty good today with my problem. The whole day was framed around the problem. No wonder it was hard to get better. As a general rule, when you talk about your pain, it's in the context of how it's screwing up your day. So as a general rule, we want to stay away from those conversations. Here's a simple tool that I got from Paul Hansma. He and I had a back and forth. He's a physicist at UCSB who's now sort of a neuroscientist. He's published tons of stuff in the world of physics, and now he's studying chronic pain. And he likes people to think about comfort, not pain. And instead of using a pain scale to ask how are you doing, how about a comfort scale? We're just reorienting the brain a little bit. So with that understanding that we're moving towards comfort, not just away from pain, here's a simple tool you can use on a regular basis and just ask yourself these 3 simple questions, maybe once a day, maybe a few times a day, just to remind yourself this is how your outlook is now. And the first thing you might want to ask yourself, and rate this on the 0 to 5 scale, I am in comfort, a state of physical ease, free of pain or constraint. Where are you on that scale? Just put yourself on the scale. A lot of people who think they're miserable all the time find that, well, 2, I guess. It's not a 0. Maybe it is a 0 for you. That's fine. If that's what it is, put it there. Second question, I am calm and peaceful. Where are you on that? Third question, I'm safe and secure. And just asking these questions can start reorienting your brain. Say it's only a 2. Nobody's at a 5 all the time on all of these things. Who's at a 5 all the time? That's not realistic. It's great if you are. Note that and feel it. But if you're a 2, it sort of helps your brain start recognizing that, oh, wait a minute, I have at least some degree of comfort. That's interesting. I had a woman recently who said, you know what it made me think? My physical comfort level was a level 2, which wasn't so great, but I couldn't help thinking that there are different kinds of comfort. And my emotional comfort right then, even while my pain was there and my physical comfort was a 2, I thought back about I have 5 different people in my life right now supporting me. And my emotional comfort with that is a 5. Can you see how the way she asked the question influenced the way her brain was working and caused her to think about things in a different way, something that she wouldn't have otherwise thought about? Where you put your attention and how you attend to things changes the way your brain works. This is a simple little exercise that can help you start attending towards comfort instead of just away from pain. I'm all about neurons that fire together, wire together. This is basic neuroscience 101. Can you start firing some neurons of turning towards comfort? And if you just practice with this kind of explicit exercise, just practicing the exercise and asking the questions, that's all you have to do. You're wiring a few neurons looking for comfort. And you might be surprised to notice that looking for comfort becomes a little more of an automatic circuit in your brain. The more you practice it, the more these neurons wire together. You're building a new neural circuit of looking towards comfort. The Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh once said, sometimes your joy can be the source of your smile, but sometimes your smile can be the source of your joy. Have you smiled today at all, ever? See if you can catch yourself smiling. See if you can catch yourself anytime you're feeling good. And at that moment, since you've been practicing this regularly, it might be easy to kind of go, oh, wait a minute, how comfortable am I right now? And you might be surprised to notice that, oh, I'm actually at a 3. I'm at a 4 maybe. Who knows? I don't know. But just see what happens as you start showing your brain that there is such a thing as comfort. After years of sort of telling it, oh, this pain is driving me crazy. Just practice this little exercise and see if it starts reorienting your brain. And remember, the brain learns gradually. The part of the brain we're trying to retrain here learns by experience and repetition. So we do these little exercises, we relax into the program, and we see what happens over the next week or 2. Does your brain start orienting a little more towards comfort? I find that when I do exercises regularly, whether it's an exercise like this, of asking myself certain questions, whether it's a meditation in the morning, then my brain is better throughout the day at firing those kind of neurons, just because I've reminded it that that's there every day. So I really encourage you to try this. Maybe put these little questions up on your refrigerator, or just look at them once a day, or however often you want to do it. But see what happens if you can start just asking the questions. The answer is not important. The fact that you are looking in this direction is what's so important and has really helped a lot of my patients. And by the way, if you try this and you don't like it for some reason, or you think it's a bunch of BS, then guess what? It's a bunch of BS for you. You're the boss of your nervous system. I don't cure anybody. I just show you some tools to rewire. This tool works for a lot of people. Give it a try. Doesn't work for you? Don't give it a try. But you're on the right path. If you've got chronic pain and you're looking into mind-body medicine and you're starting to take back your own power instead of relinquish your power to the medical system or something, and instead saying, you know what, you're not helping me. Fair enough. You help with a lot of things, but not with this. This is my job, and I'm working on it. Still looking for all the right answers. This might be one of them. This might help you move in the right direction. If not, keep looking, because I just want to reassure you once again, after 30 years of watching people try all sorts of different things for their chronic problems that nobody seemed to be able to cure, this is what works over and over again. Stick with it. You can do it. Don't give up on this. If you find this idea interesting and you want to know more about how to talk to your brain in a certain way, check out this video. And if you're new to mind-body medicine, then you might want to check out my playlist for people who are new to mind-body medicine. And hit the subscribe button if you haven't. It helps boost the channel, helps get the word out. All right, thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Brad Fanistel at Boulder Mind-Body Medicine. See you next time.